Hello detectives, welcome to another case number 2. I hope you are excited to get started cracking this case, but before we do, me and Shiloh wanted to show you one of our favorite places around Powell River. So come on a walk with us to Millennium Trails near the complex. Let's go! Here are the supplies you will need for Case 2. The Fingerprint Forensics and Felons instructional worksheet. You will also need the Vancouver Police Museum All About Fingerprints worksheet, comic grid paper, and stamp pads. Let's get started. Starting with the All About Fingerprints worksheet, what you're going to do is grab your stamp pad, and there's a little tab of tape, and if you just pull on that, the lid should come off very easily. And just be aware when you are stamping your fingerprints that sometimes too much ink or too little ink will get on your fingers, and it might end up not looking the way that you want it to or you imagined that it would. And so be patient, and you can always do test runs on spare pieces of paper before you stamp onto your worksheet if you really want. But it's kind of cool to see all the different ways your fingerprints show up, and how sometimes if you press a little harder you can't see it as much, and if you press too lightly it's kind of hard to see as well. So just be aware of that, and don't worry if there's parts of your fingerprint that you can't see. Just look at the parts that you are able to see, and be careful with the lighter colors, because I had a light pink stamp pad as well and I could not see it. So maybe try to use the darker color in your summer reading club package. And remember to wash your hands. So once you're done putting your fingerprints on the worksheet, you can get someone else to put theirs on so you can compare your fingerprints with theirs. I got my sister to put her fingerprints on, and it was really fun just to look and see how different our fingerprints were. And so get out your detective glasses and get looking for all the differences you see, and just enjoy looking at how cool fingerprints are and how unique they are.
Science Corner!
Hello everyone, and welcome to case number 2, Fingerprints and Forensics and Felons. How exciting! Everybody has fingerprints, and everybody's fingerprints are different. Isn't that crazy? Now, one of your worksheets, you are supposed to take your special fingerprints and you're supposed to tap them on some ink, and then put them on a piece of paper so you can look at them. And when you're doing this, you might have thought, I don't know what I'm looking for. I don't know what these different fingerprints are called. I don't even know where to start. So here in Science Corner, me, Chloe, Master of Mysteries, and Shiloh, Sleuthsalot, we're going to help you figure out what kind of fingerprints you have. So we are going to start off with the first kind. This kind is called the arch. And as you can see, it's called that because it kind of arches like that. I drew it up here as well so you can see it. It's a nice little arch. The second fingerprint you might have is the loop. I don't know if you see that. It's kind of like a horseshoe, a loop. And I drew it up here as well so you can see it. It kind of goes woo. And then the third kind of fingerprint is the whirl. And every time I read this fingerprint, I think of Gru off of Despicable Me and how he would say it, how he would be, a whirl. So maybe you can say it like that if you want. And it kind of does a little twirly whirly and shoots out. And do you know what? I was looking at my fingerprints and I really wanted to have all three. I wanted them all. I was really excited. And do you know what? I looked at them and I have, all of them are loops except for what? I have one whirl. Okay? I was so upset. I wanted an arch. I did not get one. So if you really wanted one and you didn't get it, you don't have it on your fingerprints, don't worry. All of them are crazy. Like, look at all these little lines and little dots everywhere. It's like a puzzle. Except I can't solve it because there's too many pieces. It's crazy. So let me know what kind of fingerprints you have. Make sure you look really closely. Sometimes they don't show up on the ink and you might have to just look at them like this and look in the light and see what you have. Okay? Thank you for joining us at Science Corner. Shiloh took a lay down because she was getting too tired. She can't sit very long. She just likes to sleep. But we'll see you next time. For our next activity, Unusual Suspects, you will want to grab your comic grid paper and you'll also want your ink pad. I decided to lay my paper long ways, almost like a wanted poster, because I wanted my fingerprint felons to look like suspects and criminals. And then I just started stamping my fingers. I used almost every single finger on both hands because I wanted there to be lots of different shapes and fingerprint sizes, but you could totally just pick one finger so that you don't have to wash your hands all over again and you just have to wash the one finger. It's totally up to you. And with this one, it doesn't matter as much if you press too hard or press too light because you're going to get creative with this. So don't get too picky with how your fingerprints look because they will work out in the end because we are going to transform these fingerprints. Now for the most important part. What kind of suspects are you going to draw? What will your suspects look like? So you're going to have to think about this for a bit before you start drawing because it's hard to come up with ideas when you feel like you have to start drawing right away. So sit down and maybe doodle some things. They could be anything like angry building suspects like I drew here, or maybe some thieving guinea pigs who like to steal jewelry. Or maybe it's a classic looking robber who likes to steal money. Whatever you want to draw, you can draw. You could even do the same suspect in different clothes or disguises. Just decide what you want to do before you start so you don't feel discouraged and like you can't think of anything. So what I like to do when drawing these suspects is I like to look at my fingerprint and think, what do you want to be? And just look at the shape of it and think about what does that look like to me. And see this one here, it looked like an angry guinea pig. I know it kind of looks like a monkey. I've never drawn a guinea pig before, but I wanted to try. And then I decided I wanted a regular old robber. I'm going to name him Robert the Robber. and he looks kind of happy, so I don't know if he's our suspect. And then I decided for Shiloh, I would draw a little dog, just like her, and I just kept going with that as I drew on all my fingerprints. Here are all of my unusual suspects. I was all over the place with this. I just kind of thought of random things I wanted to make my fingerprints into and just went with it. And as you can, I filled the whole page, which don't feel like you have to do. If you get tired halfway through, just take a break, maybe get a glass of juice or something, put your feet up, enjoy the sun. You do not have to fill the whole thing. I only named one, Mr. Pigs, because I couldn't think of all the names they needed. And my watermelon, I didn't really like him. He was a little too squiggly and scratchy, but that's okay. Just enjoy your masterpiece. Well done, detectives. How does it feel to have some of the best detective skills in the entire world? You have just cracked case number 2. That was my brain exploding because that is so amazing. I hope you had fun this week examining your fingerprints, finding out what kind of fingerprints you had, and creating some pretty nifty felons out of your fingerprints. This Friday, July 9th, we are having the Vancouver Police Museum join us to talk about fingerprint forensics. So if you are signed up for Summer Reading Club through the Powell River Public Library, watch your emails Friday morning because you will be getting a link to join us, and I hope that you can make it because it's going to be amazing. And if you can't make it, no worries. I will see you next week. Catch you later, detectives.